Hey guys, it's Doc Brown here for OCTV. Today I'm going to teach you how to upgrade your computer. Unfortunately, as you can see, mine's a little cramped up here. Main reason for this is a lot of the upgrades I'm going to be showing you how to install. Well, not really show you, just kind of explain. Well, anyway, a lot of upgrades you would have done to your computer, I've already done to mine, and I really don't feel like taking them out and then putting them all back in, because I don't even think I have the original components in to show you what things look like. But you can open up your PC and you'll be able to see things, and you'll basically understand what I'm talking about. If you don't really understand what I'm talking about, don't do anything, because you're probably going to screw it up. So let's get on to a few things. First off, what do you need to upgrade your PC for? Is it graphics? Is it memory? Is it speed? Is it overheating? Do you need more hard drive space? Do you need disk drive? All that crap. Well, I'll answer the first question, obviously. You guys, OC, you're probably, any of you doing upgrades are probably going to be doing upgrades for your graphics processing unit. GPU for short, if you've ever seen that and not understood what it means. Also known as a graphics card, anything like that. Depending on what your specs are, you'd have to take a look, pricing in your town, decide which one you want. In terms of brand, I'm going to suggest ATI or Radon, however they pronounce that one, over NVIDIA. I've just had better experiences with my Radon stuff as opposed to my NVIDIA stuff. I don't know. NVIDIA's starting to bug me. They're changing their line and everything. It's just different. Go with Radon, usually in red boxes of some kind. Definitely I would avoid going with Asus, ASUS. It still uses all the ATI technology. It's just different. Just find Radon stuff, ATI Radon, not Asus technology or NVIDIA or anything like that. Stick with that if you're doing a graphics card, and that'll probably be the best decision you made. What you will need to do if you are thinking about a graphics card is first open up your computer and you're looking for a certain slot, seeing if there's something open. And what it will be, it's called a PCI Express 16. Now it's kind of hard to see down there, but essentially, these wires out of the way, it's a large bar. The key is that little hook. Oops. Right there. If you can make that out, there's going to be one of those. If it has that, then it's a PCI 16 Express. You need one of those, and you'll need some space open back here. Those, if there are metal plates in the way, usually those are removable, as you can see probably right there. This right there, just like that. You can usually pop them out with a screwdriver. That'll work. Behind there you'll see some smaller ones. There'll always be smaller ones in there. Those are PCIs, not PCI 16s. Usually those are for networking cards. As you can see, I have a wireless card and a regular internet card in there. That's what those are for. You need an actual PCI 16 for a graphics card like this. As you can see, mine is a fairly high model, so it's fairly large. But that's what you're going to need for graphics in terms of that. It'll have cables and all that stuff like that. But graphics, just remember, won't be everything. It depends on what you're playing and how high you want to play it at. You can always get better. If you have a really big computer, if you have a good case with a lot of room and multiple PCI 16 slots, you can actually dual run two graphics cards. And both brands have this way. It's dual SLI technology. There's usually going to be a slot right about there. And what happens is you have one card and then you have a second card beside it, and you connect them with a bar, some kind of bar. You'll want to have them as the same brand, probably the same card even. But you need that in order to do dual card technology, but that's if you're doing intense stuff. It really depends. You can send me a message or talk to me after, send me a PM about what you might want. I'll be able to give you a little bit of recommendations, but it really depends on what you're planning on doing with it. If you're looking at improving other things in terms of your computer, one thing you can do to improve your computer without improving graphics is improving your RAM. The easiest way to do this is look into your computer, and once again, sorry cables are in the way. These sticks are your RAM. Now most computers you'll buy these days will probably have like 2 of them, 2 gigs of RAM. That's the standard these days. Some have 4 now, which means they'll have 4 sticks. Each stick has a gigabyte in it. But usually, if you're lucky, these slots will be opened, and all you have to do is just go to your local computer store and buy 2 sticks of normal DDR2 RAM, and you can stick those right in there and turn your computer on. If it doesn't work and starts beeping, it means you just have to take them out, put them in there. And if it still doesn't work, just blow on them with some compressed air or even your breath, because they just work on pin connectors. So it's just like using a Nintendo Entertainment System. You just gotta blow on the card sometimes and it'll go in, and it should work. Never remove or install anything while the computer is running. Always make sure the power is off. Just thought I'd mention that. If you do, I should mention this too, if you do add a new graphics card, you will probably need to upgrade your power supply. Most power supplies you get in PCs are pretty crappy. They're about 100, 200 usually watts. You need, for the one I have, you need over 550 watts, because it needs its own independent power supply. Older or less expensive power supplies will not be able to cut it. You won't be able to power this graphics card. So what you need is to get a new power supply. So always make sure to check on that. If you get a new power supply, it's pretty easy to install everything other than having a whole bunch of extra cables. Now, if you do a lot of these upgrades, you'll probably run into the same issue I do, where I have overheating issues. Well, not necessarily overheating issues, I just have heat issues. Now, the first thing to do is, if you ever get random shutdowns, one reason you can get a random shutdown is because you're overheating your CPU. The easiest way to fix this is open up your case. Look at your CPU. Look at this. This is a little more advanced of one, but there should be a fan over top of graded metal. That's a heatsink. If you can look into your fan and you can see piles of dust, that's blocking all of your airflow, and that's something you need to fix right away. The easiest way to do it is pop off the fan and blow it out with some compressed air. Make sure the dust gets outside of the case, otherwise the dust will just blow around and end up back in there. But dust will always cause heating problems. If you remove all the dust, you'll probably get rid of all those heating issues. But if you still have heating issues, next test is look to see if you have a case fan. Case fan will always just be a small fan somewhere along the case, designed to create airflow across the system in some way. I did not, so I kind of jerry-rigged one that's a little smaller because I don't feel like ordering one for the right size. Normally they come in only in 1 or 2 sizes, but I had a special case where I actually need a special size just for my case. If you still have heat issues, a good thing to do is to actually improve your PC unit. Most of them they make are universal these days, so you can just get a better heatsink and better fan like I did, and they're fairly easy to install as long as you follow the instructions. And as long as you remember to put the fan power back in. So most of that's pretty easy to do. Doing hard drives and stuff I've never actually done, but it is pretty easy. Hard drives will usually go in a case like this, and you can just slide them in there, and then you attach the appropriate cables to the appropriate connections. All computer connections, if it doesn't belong, like if it's not meant to be plugged into something, it will not click. So you'll never have a problem there. And with disk drives and stuff, it'll go in that box there too. It's actually very easy to upgrade any kind of computer as long as you're not intimidated by it. The biggest issue you will ever have is heating. And you can see that I've had to install a case fan, a new universal CPU unit. But the one biggest thing that I had a problem with is my power supply is blowing warm air onto my graphics card, and that was heating up my graphics card. Simplest solution I found was put a small fan just up against those ribs just to blow some of that hot air away. This fan is blowing hot air this way out of the case towards there. Usually you don't want to draw air from here into the case, because this will take all the air from behind usually where your power bars and everything are, they'll take all that air and put it in here. And that'll usually be warmer air. My front case has holes in it, so what happens is this air blows out and it brings in new air from the side. And that's what you want, is somewhere cold air is going in, hot air is going out in every instance. And as long as you can take care of that, your CPU will remain cool. As long as you get some more RAM, it'll multitask better. That will prevent overheating, that will allow you to play games, and that will make everything powered. I hope this has been comprehensive for what you needed to do. One other little notice. If you do PC gaming, you'll probably recognize this name, but there's a game out there called Crysis. My recommendations are, don't bother trying to play Crysis to its maximum abilities. That is an expensive, at least by my standards, an expensive upgrade. This took a lot to upgrade this PC to where it is, and it only plays Crysis at medium. Crysis, it's ultra high standards. It's doubtful whether any PC can actually handle Crysis, but if you really want to, you can go all out and try to find one that will. But I recommend you just avoid it. Just stick with whatever else would be good. Medium is fine. It's still a beautiful game on medium. So that's all I have to say. I'll see you guys next time for OCTV.